Shady, I love Prime. Obviously, you and I, we talked to him within the last month. He is active on our social medias, active messaging us, etc. I love Prime. I hate what he said there about the offensive line. Absolutely hate it. First reason I hate it is you can't call out your offensive line when your son plays quarterback, because your offensive line is supposed to protect your son who plays quarterback. And if you are telling players that are actively playing that you are looking to replace them from a human perspective, how do you expect them to take that? Like, from a human perspective, if I know that I'm on borrowed time, if the boss has told me today, yeah, we just looking to replace Acho and we gonna do it beautifully, how you think I'm gonna do the show every day until I am replaced? That's the first reason I don't love it. The second reason I do not love it, a lot of players on Colorado are playing poorly. A lot of them. The defense has been atrocious time and time again this season. The defensive coordinator has had his players out of position time and time again this season. Offensively, since the TCU game, I have not seen the same hurry up and tempo. And then even Deion Sanders is grown enough and enough of a leader to take accountability for. I saw one of these last week, James. Here's why.
Which one?
Colorado was trailing UCLA. It was 28-9. Colorado scores. They go 28-16. But, Deion, why didn't you go for two? Because it should have been 28-17 in the event you get a touchdown, get a two-point conversion, that's 8, then you kick a field goal. But instead, you just kick the extra point, now it's a 2-touchdown game. Now, nobody's going to talk about it because Colorado inevitably lost, but in that moment, I was like, Deion, that was a blatant, egregious error. You have to go for 2 right then and there. Everybody has been bad at one point or another. You can't single out the offensive line, James Jones. I didn't like it at all.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. Real quick, I just want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Because you, well, both of you guys are like really real passionate about the Steve Wilks.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Shanahan calling out Steve Wilks and Prime calling out the O-line?
You want me to answer? You got it.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so first of all, they asked the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, about that play in particular. And he said he knew he messed that call up. 16 seconds left. Why are you doing an all-out blitz? They didn't even pass the 50 yet.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And
you don't feel like he could have said that to Steve Wilks?
That was so obvious, like, yeah. He answered the question correctly. How was you going to answer that? Why are you doing all out blitz with 16 seconds left before half? That didn't even make sense.
I felt like
different.
I felt like it was different ways he could have answered that question. But to get back on Prime, since Prime has walked in the building at Colorado, he has let these kids know, and he's been really honest with these kids, right? He's first team meeting, he said, I'm bringing my luggage with me. I don't know how many kids transferred, but over 30, 40 kids transferred because they didn't like what Prime was saying. It wasn't no sugarcoating. This is what is about to happen. Through this whole course of him rebuilding Colorado, everything he's talked about was the trenches is not ready, right? That's all he's talking. This is no surprise. So when he gets asked about the offensive lineman, I coach little kids. I coach my sons, and I always say, come on, right? He messed up, come on. You ain't helping. You sorry out there. You ain't helping.
Good point.
Right? So you brought up a point about the line blocking for his son. They ain't blocking. whether you call him out or not, they not blocking. Every team that they have played, this dude been running for his life. And Prime just came out now and said it, but they ain't been blocking. But he's let us know and let the world know that I have to build the trenches. I don't mind it because it's not the first time his kids has heard him be honest with them. You get what I'm saying? However it may come off, since he's been there, he's been honest with these kids. I respect a coach like that. I don't respect coaches that, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing you talk crazy like this? Like, this is how you feel? Prime ain't, this has been Prime. So I don't mind him coming out and saying this about his players strictly because they're not doing their job. Do better.
Yeah, I mean, they've allowed an FBS worst 42 sacks. There were 7 in the UCLA game.
Or you don't know?
I don't know who's second, but they're the worst.
That's pretty bad.
They're the worst. It doesn't get worse than the worst.
Yeah.
So they're the worst. And he had to have a numbing injection at halftime because he's getting hit. So I don't know how much worse it could get than the worst. I hear what you're saying, but they're the worst. So, yeah, like, that is the answer. The answer is, of course, we're going to get new linemen. Now, whether you go and you recruit new linemen or you get them in the portal, very rarely do high-level linemen get in the portal to begin with. So it's going to be difficult to do. And we know it's not the sexiest part of football. But, yeah, it starts in the trenches. You got to build the lines. That's what it is. It doesn't feel good to call them out. But I'd have to know, did he not talk about how bad everybody else was also?
No, not.
Like, he did not once mention that he needs to be better, or the coaches need to be better, and the rest of the players need to be better.
But
like,
he didn't say he was going to go get new everybody.
I'm gonna go get it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but like everybody got some level of smoke, right? Like he didn't go in there like, yeah, everybody, like everyone did fine except for the offensive line. They suck. We're gonna replace all of them.
Everybody get the same amount of smoke.
They got extra smoke, but they're the worst. So maybe they should get extra smoke. Right. I don't love it. But I'm also like, he's just being honest. We all have eyes. We all can read the statistics. We all watch it. There's a lot of blame to go around, and when you're losing, everything gets worse. Mm-hmm. But he's also just talking about reality, which is they are going to have to replace this line.
So I'm glad we brought up numbers. I don't like to do numbers because I don't like to do it, but I'm glad we did the numbers. Yeah. So you said that they're they're worst?
That's just one of the statistics. Right. Sacks, yes. 42.
Right. I didn't like it, right? I love Deion a lot. I didn't like that comment because he's a leader. He's a dude that I look forward to, like, inspiring, uplifting the kids, all that type of stuff. Even if they play bad. The first thing he said was, Alon needs to play better, right? And then he wanted to say, we gonna get a whole new lineman. I didn't like that part. But since we're talking about numbers, let's talk about some numbers. Deion's a defensive guy, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
He plays defense, he's a defensive guy?
Hall of Fame.
So you gave us some numbers about how bad the offensive line is protecting him, right? Cool. So, and that's why they had to get a whole new offensive line.
They do.
Let's go to the defense, because he's a defensive coach. Mm-hmm. Out of 133 college teams, right, Division I, right, they rank 125th in defense, points per game. Mm. So that means, right, since you go to numbers and y'all talking about all this, then we need to get rid of the whole defense.
Clean it all out.
Get all of them out, right? He need to get some, he had Louis when he brought that, he need to get Gucci, right? Gucci and some Prada, you know what I mean? That's how we talking. That's all I'm saying. We got to be fair about this. Yeah. Some other stats for y'all, since we like numbers. They played USC. They could have won that game, right? I'm not going to talk about the clock management that was a coach's thing, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk strictly on players. They had 198 yards of offense. 498 yards of offense. It was 34-14.5, and it could have been worse, right? If we keep going down these numbers, Stanford. Let's go to Stanford, though. Stanford's a bad team. Everybody in the world knows they're a bad team. Smart, but bad football players. They gave them 46 points to Stanford. They were, what, 21 dogs?
In the second half, I think.
29 skunk.
29, come on. 29-0. So if we talking strictly on numbers, which I want to do, I don't do numbers. A bad Stanford team that's strictly just intelligent, they don't play no ball. You up 29-0. And how you let them come out and score 46 points? And you lose. So all I'm saying is this. If we going to call players out a certain way, because I like when coaches call me out. I like when they call positions out. It's the way you do it, though.
Yes,
I need to call you out and still make you come to practice the next day hungry. Think them boys will come out to practice hungry? And if we talking like that, so if you're going to get rid of that new line, I'm with that, Deion, as you said. But you also need to go out there and get some new defensive players and defensive coaches. Do all that. So that's what we doing.
That's where I'm at.
I'm just being real, yeah, because that's Deion, my dude. But if we speaking like that, we gotta keep the same stuff for everybody.
Really good take. A lot of holes in this Colorado team, I guess.
A lot.
Just address them, that's all.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.